Hello everyone and welcome once again to Let's Play Morrowind. Last time when we left off, I was on the top floor of Decel's House of Earthly Delights, having discovered that I was now capable of picking open level 45 locks. So as discussed in that video, I have since unlocked the 3 level 45 doors encountered so far. That one at Decel's House of Earthly Delights in Saran, the door to the Senses and Excise warehouse in Seydanine, and this one, the door to Anasi's house here in Pelagiad. I haven't explored any of those interiors yet. I also discovered that with a Master's lockpick, I was at least capable of picking open a level 50 lock. But as I tried to unlock the Pelagiad guard tower, my Master's lockpicks ran dry, and I am not yet capable of picking those locks with the Journeyman's picks, so we'll wait on doing those. Finally, on, I think it was the very first pick, the one in Saran, my security skill increased to 19. So that's all you missed. We're back in Pelagiad. Our first order of business is to explore behind those 3 doors we just unlocked. So let's start here with Anasi's house. Let's see what we've got. Bread for restore fatigue. Salt rice, always handy. Some clutter, don't particularly care. I will take the 5 gold. Over here, I will take Sujama, and I will take Flynn. In the chest of drawers, nothing. I will take Scuttle, and Kwama eggs, and salt rice. And I will pick open this level 30 lock. No problem. And let's head downstairs. Inside the barrel, just 1 Sujama is the only thing worth taking. I'll take the Scuttle. That one's empty. That one's empty. Let's head over into here, to the bedroom. We got another chest to open here. Get it open. No problem. Some gold. That's fine. Here's another chest we can open. So let's do that. That extra 5 is giving us real trouble. Come on. When was the last time I quick saved? Oh, right up there. That's not bad. I don't want to burn that many uses. Alright, so let's do that again. I won't recount everything I pick up this time, because it's all more or less the same, just some slight variation in which particular restore fatigue ingredients were in there. Well, now I am just getting spectacularly unlucky on this one. Come on. Really? Thank you. Goodness. There we go. Alright. Yikes. Alright. with that done, save again. Let's check under the pillows. Nothing and nothing. Let's head over here. Hopefully the level 15 lock turns out a little better. We want grave dust for cure common disease. We want red lichen for the same. We don't care about scamp skin, but we will take the small quama egg. Let's get this one open. Outstanding. Quality restore luck is worth selling at least. Bitter green petals, not necessary. We will take the hound meat though. Ash yam, bloat, fortify intelligence, grave dust, cure common disease, red lichen, cure common disease, and salt rice. And the closet can be picked open as well. So, just a lot of locks to pick, and maybe some decent random loot in some of these containers. Nothing to write home about, but... Okay, let's check these two. Allet hide is not necessary. I like chokeweed for cure common disease. Definitely like scrib jelly for cure blight disease. I'll take 5 gold. And I'll take Sujama. Alright. What do I have in the way of potions? Oh, maybe I should, since I'm in Pelagiad anyway, maybe before I commit to anything, it would be wise. We'll visit Mebestian, just to get rid of anything I picked up purely to sell. That would be the Flynn. Quality restore luck. 3 Sujama. And that's it. Alright, let's head to Junalai's house now. There's definitely a potential to need more thief tools. I'm just going to carry all of these. They don't weigh anything anyway. And I'm constantly using them. Okay. So first I got ash yams, which we hoard. I got bloat, which we also hoard. Bread is just for restore fatigue. As is... I could have sworn I was holding something for restore fatigue, but maybe not. Chokeweed is for cure common disease, as is all this willow anther. Grave dust is the same. Hound meat, red lichen is... These are restore fatigue, restore health. Scrib jelly... Oh, I did that in the wrong order. Scrib jelly just goes there. And now we're ready to make some potions. Alright, let's do this. First, we will go willow anther and make all the cure common disease potions we can. We'll use the chokeweed, use the grave dust, and the red lichen. Willow anther goes away. I've got a potion of cure common disease already. I really only feel the need to carry one with me. I'll hold on to it and stack the rest. Or stash the rest, as the case may be. There it is. Perfect. Alright, what's next? Do I have anything for restore health? I don't think I do. Just a lot of fatigue. That's 4. That's 3. So the hound meat is the most common. Bread is good for nothing else. same is functionally true for Kwama eggs. Here we go. Let's do this. Do this. Let's ditch some of these. I still only feel the need to hold on to 10. Be well and truly drowning in these before long, though. Alright. So I've got a Cure Blight, a Cure Common, 10 Restore Fatigue. Just kidding. 10 Restore Fatigue. Or I will in a moment, anyway. Come on now. Come on, team. And 10 Restore Health. My 2 Salt Rice, my Thief Tools, decent number of Repair Tools. I think everything's good. Now let's leave behind the Apprentice Tools. No need to tote those. That's better. It's much better. Cool. Alright. Let's now jog back to Satanine and explore the Census and Excise warehouse. We're actually going to encounter a new NPC there. There's no need to get ahead of myself. Let's just make the trip. The run is fairly short. As soon as I got a respawning source of purchasable, or a restocking merchant who sells thief tools, I became unconcerned with failure rates, except when it's ridiculous, like when I burn through an entire journeyman's lockpick on a level 35 lock and nothing happens. Yeah, that remains not cool, but generally speaking, I don't care. Alright, let's do that, and we can immediately replace our Restore Fatigue potion, which is fun. If the pattern holds, that should be the only encounter we have to deal with en route to Satanine. I haven't forgotten about Siege at Firemoth, but we're still too weak to handle it. I'll come back when we're strong enough. Remember Adam Asartus? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Anyway, the Census and Excise warehouse is directly across from the Census and Excise office. You'll notice it's now unlocked. It had a level 45 lock, just like Anasi's house did. So let's see what we can find in here. Let's start at the top and work our way down. I usually like to do that. Ah, look at this. We got moon sugar. Let's nick all of that. An Imperial Steel left gauntlet and an Imperial Shield. I don't think I care about any of that. Resin will restore health, Willow Anther will cure common disease, and Heather is worth selling. Ashiam, fortify intelligence, Cresh Fiber, worth selling, as is a Stoneflower Petal. In the barrel, we have 250 iron arrows. Right there, we have a Petty Soul Gem, which we'll want, along with 5 gold. In this barrel, we got more gold. No reason not to take it. In this crate, we have skooma. Cloth sack with salt rice. Crate with 8 pillows. That seems strange, but whatever. We got more sacks here with salt rice, and salt rice. Let's descend the stairs now. Down here, what do we have? In this crate, nothing. In this crate, steel armor. Great, don't really care. Yeah, don't care. In this barrel, black anther, worth selling, crab meat, hackalow, netch leather, and stone flour, all worth taking. And I should take the scamp skin just to sell too. Actually, I should have done that. Nordic fur armor, don't care. Iron spear and iron halberd, don't care. 20 hound meat, sure. Quama eggs, sure. Empty crate. 2 baskets. We got bloat, chokeweed, crab meat, and stone flour, all worth taking. Cork bulb, creche fiber, red lichen, scamp skin, and willow anther, all worth taking. Bloat, quama egg, scales, slowed soap, and stone flour, all worthwhile. This one I already did. In this crate, we have imperial steel and imperial studded leather. Don't really care. Although this one is worth taking for value to weight for selling. An imperial short sword, don't care. Moon sugar, hell yeah. An imperial broadsword, no thank you. More moon sugar, and a warehouse shipping log, a new book, which I will take off the book list, even though there's very little to actually read. All it says is, this appears to be the records of incoming and outgoing shipments, complete with dates and business partners. Well, there you go. Is it worth anything? No, so we'll leave it. Let's head over here now. Check this crate. 16 bottles. Do not care. Let's go upstairs. Now we're going to run into a guard here, but don't be alarmed. He doesn't care that we're in here, even though we had to pick the lock to get in. And then we will run into Adraria Vandacia. She does feature at a quest later, so let's just talk to her now. Alright. Let's see what she has to say. Welcome to Satanine, stranger. Is there some specific place you're looking for? I am Adraria Vandacia, agent and taxman of the Census and Excise Office. Imperial, latest rumors, little advice. Little secret. Morrowind lore. My trade. I'm an agent. I work for a house or a company or the state, and I do things that need doing. Mostly I handle matters in the business or diplomatic line, things that require mercantile skills or the arts of speechcraft. I trade in knowledge, hard facts and rumors. Knowledge is power, as they say. And sometimes I do other sorts of things I can't talk about. Services, Solstheim, someone in particular, specific place, and that's all there is for her. Fair enough. Let's go over here, though. There's another copy of the warehouse shipping log, which we can ignore. There's 100 gold, which we can steal. And there's an empty chest. And then a door out to this balcony above the docks that we came in on. And that's it for here. So now, let's go pay a visit to our old buddy Ariel. We definitely do have some offloading to do. Ah yes, we got moon sugar and skooma we're going to have to get rid of. Forgot about that little rule. Let's put those down and chat with him again. I'm worried I'm accidentally going to sell him something that'll trigger him. I think I've done enough to prevent that, but I prefer certainty. The Imperial Steel Helmet I picked up just to sell. Actually, I picked up a few ingredients purely because they're valuable enough to sell. Not many, but a few. Alright. And with that, I'll take that and that. Now, in ordinary circumstances, well, I don't know why I said in ordinary circumstances, because I am going to run back to Pelagiad right quick, just because it is such a quick trip, and I want to offload this stuff. And then I'll make the similarly quick trip to Saran, and we can get back to our real business of exploring Decel's House of Earthly Delights. Oh, shoot. Pay attention, hoss. Don't get caught with your pants down. I need to restore fatigue, and now I need to restore health. I did also, between videos, in case it wasn't obvious, I did some offloading at Junolai's house. Just dropping off a lot of stuff I indicated I'd be hoarding. Alrighty. Whew. Onward, as they say. Let's just duck down here. Moon Sugar and Skooma. We'll suddenly and overwhelmingly make a giant profit off of these just as soon as we find a Khajiit merchant who's willing to buy them. Until then, though, they just take up space. Where's my iron arrow stack? There it is. Lovely. And once again, time to deal with potions. Ash yams, bloat, netch leather. I'll get ditched immediately. Scales mixed with violet coprinus. Let's get some of that. Luminous Rusula mixes with Hackle Low, so let's get some of that. I think I've already got enough Willow Anther and everything else. Let's just get rolling. Alright. Chokeweed goes with Willow Anther for Cure Common Disease. Same with Red Lichen. Now, Hackalow and Luminous Rusula go together for water breathing. Violet Coprinus and Scales go together for water walking. Salt Rice goes with Cork Bulb. I should actually pick up the rest of this Cork Bulb root. That's why I have it stashed after all. Salt Rice goes with Cork Bulb to make Restore Health. It also goes with Resin for the same purpose. Hound Meat goes with Crab Meat, Large Egg, and Small Eggs for Restore Fatigue. And we can burn off a little Salt Rice that way too. Alright, good. Oh, this is lovely. Love being able to actually collapse a stack. It's nice. Okay. Alright, cool. So the Rusula and Coprinus get put away. I'll hold on to the salt rice. The empty petty soul gem goes in a stack here. I am going to run out of space for excess potions in a hurry. That's kind of fun. Cure common, go away. All but one of you. Thinking you. I'll restore fatigue except the single stack of 10. That's my favorite. Keep 10 of these restore healths. Rest go away. As do the water breathing and water walkings. So I have no real need for those. Cool. Out we go once again. And now we'll head back to Suran, the way we first got there. And we'll just check it out. Oh, yeah. No way I can reach that bull match. Oh, hello, wild guar. Don't need your hide. Do need to ditch you. We'll pop a restore health as well. Just for giggles, so you can eyeball it, this time let's run the road through the Dren plantation. See, there are guards and slaves aplenty. You can see some netch over there. That's dwarven armor, which we haven't seen before. Should be fairly obvious. That dude's a badass. Anyway, let's just rip right through all of this. At this point, I'm starting to think I have enough restore fatigue potions that maybe I don't need to collect those ingredients anymore. I just work off the stack I have for now. And in the event I do run out, we can do some more hoarding. Pop another one of each. Not like they're scarce. I'll put it that way. Let's get back to work in Suran. After a nice little backtracking detour, in which many things were unlocked. Oh, hello, Bull Netch. Owned. Definitely need that netch leather. You'll be amazed how much of it we need in order to enchant without having to use the Mage's Guild. Regardless, we are almost back. Got a Quama Forager here. Let's get our fatigue in order before we engage. No Cliff Racer this time. That's good. And now we are back in Saran. And if we head up the stairs and go inside, I'm going to repair my Dwarven Halberd right quick. We'll be right back where I left you at the House of Earthly Delights. Except, the room door is unlocked. There's actually literally nothing in here. It's just a bed you can sleep in. Alright, let's go downstairs then. First, I'm interested in looting the room.
What's this then?
So let's look around. A good skooma pipe is certainly worth the gold, but stealing it is looking like such a pain in the rear. Maybe it won't be that bad. Alright, let's take the good skooma pipe.
You take me for a fool.
Alright, let's try this again. The good skooma pipe. Oh, come on. I've got 100 sneak. Now I know my agility sucks, but come on. Really? Maybe I need to get him turned away. Maybe that's the issue. Oh, we got it. Steal the moon sugar now. Whew, come on. One more. Let's get that moon sugar.
What do you think you're
Come on, moon sugar. Give it to me. I want it. I want it. Let's have it. Yes. Thank you.
What's this then?
This bug is fun. The bar door will turn sideways if you leave it and reload. So, Derek doesn't really seem to want to let us by. That's fine, I suppose. I hate being forced to jump, but I understand it happens sometimes. So notice all the goodies in here. The contraband in particular.
Care to tell me what this is about?
We've got a small chest with 25 gold inside. 2 Sujama. A skooma.
What's this then?
Yeah, clearing off the bar is going to be a challenge.
Care to tell me what this is about?
Not particularly.
I will listen, Outlander, but make it quick.
Yeah, at least there's nothing I need over here. So,
Scamps, I could skin them all.
so let's get the gold out of the chest. We can at least get 2 of the Sujamas from here.
Ooh, that there.
That's helpful. We might be able to nick this Cyrodiilic brandy. Well, somebody sees us right now. There we go. We got the brandy. That was good.
What's this about?
Yes.
Jeep has no words for you. Bloody scamps, I could skin them all.
I
All right.
shouldn't have pushed so hard.
Let's get the stuff behind the bar first. We got a brandy. We got another brandy. We got a skooma. We got another skooma. That's just a Mazda, and I don't need it. Great. That skooma is the last thing I need to actually have the bar cleared off. That is pretty cool.
What do you want?
I just want that skooma off the bar, that's all.
What makes this smell?
Got it. Good. So you can see the AI is starting to bug out a little. That's okay, though. We got Mazda over here that I don't care about. Nothing on this table. So the last things I need are the 3 good liquors
Yeah, so if you could hurry this up.
and or drugs on this table. So let's get them. Let's get... Sujama, Cyrodiilic Brandy.
What was I thinking?
We got... Come on. I need to get Snorri turned around, too. I think he's the problem.
What makes this smell? Yes.
Come on, then. See something or move on.
Alright.
What was I thinking?
Oh, God, who saw it that time? This is irritating. I'm sorry, I'm losing my patience. And there's not really any need to. I bet it's actually the dancers. But...
I don't believe it.
Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
What was I thinking?
Alright, we got the skooma.
Come on, then. See something or move on.
I heard something. Who put that there? Dirt everywhere. Dirt.
So what do you want?
Come on. This is just getting irritating. Come on now. Come on, come on, come on. See, I wish it didn't do a new stealth check when I tried to grab something. It's like, if I'm undetected at the moment I hit the space bar, that should be the end of the story. Anyway, we got the brandy that time. Now we just need the Sujama. Come on. Who is the problem here? I can't even tell. I think the dancer's AI may always be looking at the main room, but I don't know for sure. Come on now, one more. This is the last thing in here that I want to take. Come on.
Bloody scamp.
Come on. We've been at this 45 minutes already. Come on. I say, why are you bothering me? Go watch the dancers where you started, dude. You too, dude. Don't come eyeball me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if the random movement patterns don't work out in my favor, I get really screwed. Why am I so insistent on this?
Close to the fire, don't you?
It's just a bottle of Sujama.
If you want something, now's the time to
You
talk.
like to walk a fine line, don't you?
I want everybody to quit hassling me. That's what I want. Good God Almighty.
To dance close to the fire.
Shut up. Oh, I'm getting so annoyed. I'm getting so annoyed over something so small. But I can't quite bring myself to abandon it because in my head, it's something useful to sell.
Come on then, say something or move on.
Bloody scamps, I could skin them all. What makes this smell? Sweet skooma.
There is someone watching me, I can tell.
This is brutal. Come on. Come on. Come on, let's have it. Good Lord. I'm dying here. Wait for the sneak icon to appear. Got it! Oh, thank Christ. Okay. Now, let's start talking to people. Let's begin with the dancers. We'll start with Morel. Hello there, High Elf. Looking for a good time? Goodbye. So we can't actually do anything. That's all she'll say. That's fine. Let's talk to Runa. Same. Oh, Runa has real dialogue. No trouble at all, Travis. I'm not busy at the moment. What can I tell you about Saran? I am Runa, acrobat. Latest rumors, little advice, little secret, Morrowind lore. The blight is a sickness you get from being outside during ash storms. The sickness comes from Red Mountain. It makes normal creatures into terrible monsters. My trade. Nivena Ules, Nord. Services, Solstheim, someone in particular. Specific place, Saran, Thieves Guild. Oh wait, what about Thieves Guild? Oh, the Thieves Guild is just like any other trade guild, an organization of craftsmen and professionals. Let's talk to Kaminda now. I am Kaminda, acrobat. Latest rumors, little advice, little secret, Morrowind lore. Slavery is protected by law in Morrowind. Slavery is illegal throughout the rest of the Empire, but some Dunmers still defend their ancient right to own slaves. In Morrowind, slaves are bound by enchanted slaver bracers. The bracers drain the magicka from the slaves, so they can't use magic to escape. Unless you have a key, you can't get the slave bracers off. The Emperor should put a stop to slavery, but the Dunmer claim the right to own slaves is guaranteed by the armistice. My trade, Novena Ule, services, Solstheim, some in particular, blah, blah, blah. The Thieves Guild, yeah, we've got that. Alright, now let's chat with Snorri. Runa's a real gem, isn't she? Blunt weapons, latest rumors. A caravaner told me he delivered a bunch of pilgrims in robes and a pile of equipment to a drop site east of Lake Nabia, northwest of Mount Cand. There's nothing out there to interest a pilgrim. You want to bet that's a bunch of rogue Telvanni setting up housekeeping? Long blades, Solstheim, spears. Thanks, dude. Alright, now we'll talk to Movis Moran. Great place, huh? Alright, now we'll go over to the bar. We'll talk to Kinjarsi first. What can Jarsi do for you? Alright. Solstheim. Twin lamps. I don't trust you enough to talk about that. Well, let's fix that. Look, I like you, but not enough to tell you that. That's privileged information, I'm sorry. Kinjarsi knows only rumors. They help slaves escape, they take us back to elsewhere. Alright, let's talk to Helviane Dessel. Welcome to my house, High Elf. Make yourself at home. I'm Helviane Dessel, trader. Cyrillic Brandy, Dranus Sarathrum, Flynn, Fortify Potions, Grief, latest rumors. Ah, well, I don't know if anyone else has seen him, but I saw some crazy guy wandering around the hills east of here recently. He was all decked out in armor and waving his sword, mumbling about there being no one to challenge him. I'd steer clear, stranger. Your journal has been updated. Good. All right. So we'll have to check our journal after we get out of this one, but little advice. You want to know about traders and how they work in Morrowind, talk to Nalion at the Gateway Inn in Sadrith Mora. He knows what he's talking about. Well, thank you. Little secret. If someone attacks you first, you have the right to defend yourself. Oh, we've done that one before. I don't even know why I was reading it. Morrowind lore, my trade. I am a trader, a general merchant. I buy and sell a little of everything. Weapons, armor, clothes, books, miscellaneous items of all kinds. Take a look around, let me know what you want. Or if you have things you'd like to sell, let me take a look at them and I'll give you a price. Nevena Ulis, services, Shine, Solstheim, specific place, Sujama, Suran. Alright, now let's look at the journal. While in Suran, I spoke to Ashumanu Eraisha. Well, that's not true, but okay. She told me of a madman on a hill nearby. She thinks the man is dangerous, although he hasn't harmed anyone around. If we look at the quests, we've started a miscellaneous quest called Umbra, which we'll deal with soon enough. Now let's speak with Derek Biel. Well, hey there. Fine place this is, huh? Fine place. Good place for me to just forget about my troubles. No use thinking about them. Stupid slaves. Why they gotta run, huh? Sure, be nothing to do if they didn't, but why they gotta hide, too? Your journal has been updated. Solstheim, stupid slaves. Bah! I hate 'em all. Especially the ones I can't find. Know what I mean? Course you do. Been looking for this one, Hajai, for months now. Can't find him, though. Always running and hiding. Running and hiding. How's a man supposed to earn his keep? I'll tell you how. Running and looking, that's how. Even got myself a guide, I did. Good old hides his eyes. Kind of a stupid name if you ask me. Anyway, he's been showing me around here for a couple of weeks. Fat load of good that's done me. Your journal has been updated. I can find this slave you're looking for. Ha! Sure, you go ahead and look. That'll be fun for you, I suppose. Go ahead, see if I care. Hell, you can have half the reward for the stupid slave if you find him, or kill him. Either one is just fine with me. Barkeep! Your journal has been updated. Hajai. Tricky bugger. Can't find him anywhere, but that's probably because I don't know where to look. Running and hiding, getting a little dry over here. Hides his eyes. Good fella, that one. Not worth a damn, but a good fella. Took me all over these parts looking for that slave. Showed me this place, too, so he can't be all bad. He seems to like the trade house in town. I'm happier in this place. Another drink here. Stupid slaves. Yeah, I hate 'em. Stupid slaves. While in the House of Earthly Delights in Suran, I met a Breton named Derek BL. He is a drunken sot, obviously hasn't showered in weeks, and reeks of failure. And this quest is the Drunken Bounty Hunter. So we've started 2 new quests. Good times. Alrighty. BL is a bounty hunter, or former bounty hunter. For months now, he has been tracking a runaway slave, Hajai, but the slave has proven more elusive than he thought. He has been unable to catch him, and has been unsuccessful at killing him and collecting the bounty that way. Derek and his guide, Hides His Eyes, have been in Suran for weeks, hoping to hear word of the elusive runaway. I have agreed to try and find Hajai, although I don't know if I will be any more successful than the bounty hunter. BL has said he will reward me well, giving me a share of the bounty. He had heard that Hajai had been hiding out somewhere around town, but isn't sure exactly where. Of course, anything this man says is somewhat suspect. Alright, we are approaching the 1 hour mark now. So I am going to stop off at the pawnbroker one more time. Sell off everything we just nicked from the House of Earthly Delights. Ah, yes. We got moon sugar. And a bunch of skooma. I almost forgot both. Alright. Now we can sell him the Cyrodiilic brandy. And we could also sell him the Sujama, but he's going to run out of gold. That's fine. Let's sell off the Sujama. He won't buy the good skooma pipe. I think that's another one that'll have to wait for a Khajiit merchant. Everything else looks good though. Alright, good. Let's take our stuff back. Let's head out. I think one productive thing to do when you get a quest like this is talk to guards. Let's ask him about Hajai and Hides His Eyes. I don't trust you enough to talk about that. Oh, well let's fix that, shall we? I've heard about that runaway slave Derek BL has been looking for. Not too much I can tell you though. You might check with Dranis Sarathram, the slave trader. He'd probably have the latest news on that kind of thing. Your journal has been updated. Hides His Eyes. The Argonian? He came into town a few weeks back. Spent some time in the trade house. Seems like a nice enough fellow. Tried to help out that bounty hunter, no luck though. People in Suran don't seem to know much about the escaped slave. They did, however, suggest I talk to Dranis Sarathram, the slaver in town. It figures he would know about any escaped slaves in the area. That's fair enough. The next building we're going to visit is Garathmuk Gromuzgub Smith. We'll just head inside. Alrighty. Start by looking around here. Nordic fur, don't care, 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 don't care. Don't care. I do want those throwing stars. I do want these repair tools. So, we'll nick those. So,
Nothing.
back there's a steel halberd, not as good as our dwarven one. Ah, there is a guard over there. So let's Shanghai the hammers and the throwing stars.
Say your business.
Ah, Orcish pauldrons and Orcish helm are medium upgrades. Sorry, I'm just taking a few notes. All right, good, good, good. I want to see what's inside this small chest. Probably gold. Let's go over here.
What was that?
I will listen, Outlander, but make it quick.
We'll see if there's anything we need. I don't think there will be. We got some steel armor. Great, don't care. Inside the sack, we got cork bowl brute that I do want, and wickwheat that I do want. Inside this sack, I want both. In this crate, nothing I need. This crate, the bone mold tower shield is an upgrade. So we'll take that to replace this bone mold shield. Other than that, I think we're good. In this cloth sack, yes, we want the Kwama eggs. Do I need any of these weapons? No. No, no, no. Good. Alright, let's look here. We've got the buying game, which is a mercantile skill book we'll want to take. Lots of good stuff here. Surprising amount, actually. All right. We've read Brief History of the Empire V2, and 2920 Sun's Dusk is another skill book for Short Blade. So we want to take both of those. Neither of them are for reading just yet.
Where is that sleigh?
All right, so let's steal these. Provinces of Tamriel is a little note that we can just read without stealing and then take it off of our list. There it is. Provinces of Tamriel. The Empire of Tamriel encompasses the 9 imperial provinces: Skyrim, High Rock, Hammerfell, Somerset Isle, Valenwood, Elsewhere, Blackmarsh, Morrowind, and the ancient imperial province itself, Cyrodiil. Morrowind was among the last of the provinces to be integrated into the Empire, and because it was added by treaty and not by conquest, Morrowind retains exceptional power to define local law by reference to ancient Great House precedents. Skyrim, also known as the Old Kingdom or the Fatherland, was the first region of Tamriel settled by humans from the continent of Atmora, the hardy, brave, warlike Nords, whose descendants still occupy this rugged land. Though more restrained and civilized than their barbarian ancestors, the Nords of the pure blood still excel in the manly virtues of red war and bold exploration. Hammerfell is primarily an urban and maritime province, with most of its population confined to the great cities of Sentinel and Stros Mackay, and to other small ports among the islands and along the coast. The interior is sparsely populated with small, poor farms and beast herds. The Redguard love of travel, adventure, and the high seas has dispersed them as sailors, mercenaries, and adventurers in ports of call throughout the Empire. High Rock encompasses the many lands and clans of Greater Brittany, the Delis Isles, the Builsay River tribes, and by tradition the Western Reach. The rugged highland strongholds and isolated valley settlements have encouraged the fierce independence of the various local Breton clans, and this contentious tribal nature has never been completely integrated into a provincial or imperial identity. Nonetheless, their language, bardic traditions, and heroic legends are a unifying common legacy. The Somerset Isle is a green and pleasant land of fertile farmlands, woodland parks, and ancient towers and manors. Most settlements are small and isolated, and dominated by ruling seats of the local wizard or warlord. The Isle has few good natural ports, and the natives are unwelcoming to foreigners, so the ancient chivalric high culture of the Aldmer is little affected by modern imperial mercantilism. Valenwood is a largely uninhabited forest wilderness. The coasts of Valenwood are dominated by mangrove swamps and tropical rainforests, while heavy rainfalls nurture the temperate inland rainforests. The Bosmer live in timber clan houses at sites scattered along the coast and through the interior, connected only by undeveloped foot trails. The few imperial roads traverse vast, dense woodlands studded with tiny, widely separated settlements, and carry little trade or traffic of any kind. The Khajiit of the southern Elsewhere jungles and river basins are settled city dwellers with ancient mercantile traditions and a stable agrarian aristocracy based on sugarcane and salt rice plantations. The nomadic tribal Khajiit of the dry northern wastes and grasslands are, by contrast, aggressive and territorial tribal raiders, periodically united under tribal warlords. While the settled south has been quick to adopt imperial ways, the northern nomadic tribes cling to their warlike barbarian traditions. Most of the native Argonian population of Black Marsh is confined to the great inland waterways and impenetrable swamps of the southern interior. There are few roads here, and most travel is by boat. The coasts and the northwestern upland forests are largely uninhabited. For ages, the Dunmer have raided Black Marsh for slaves. Though the Empire has made this illegal, the practice persists, and Dunmer and Argonians have a long-standing and bitter hatred for one another. Morrowind, homeland of the Dunmer peoples, is the northeastmost province of the Tamrielic Empire. Most of the population is gathered in the high uplands and fertile river valleys of central Morrowind, especially around the inland sea. The island Vardenfell is encircled by the inner sea and is dominated by the titanic volcano Red Mountain and its associated ash wastelands. Most of the island's population is confined to the relatively hospitable west and southwest coast. Cyrodiil is the cradle of human imperial high culture on Tamriel. It is the largest region of the continent, and most is endless jungle. The imperial city is in the heartland, the fertile Nibene Valley. The densely populated central valley is surrounded by wild rainforests drained by great rivers into the swamps of Argonia and Topal Bay. The land rises gradually to the west and sharply to the north. Between its western coast and its central valley are deciduous forests and mangrove swamps. So there you go. Let's turn him towards us, because I want those pauldrons and helmet. Those are important, as they say. We'll swap those on. Oh shoot. It's just it's two left pauldrons. Well, and I only actually need one. But it is worth selling. Just note that we can't sell it back to him. Which is fine. Doesn't matter. We have a full set of medium armor, so after I go off screen this time around, I will be grinding that skill up. For now, let's finish up in here, and then I'll chat about what I'm going to do off screen. So let's talk to Gerothmuk first. Welcome to Saran, gem of the Ascadian Isles. Yep. I am Gerothmuk Gromuzgub, Smith. Seeing all these. Derek BL. What a sot. Seemed like a decent enough sort when he came to town, but I think his spirit is just broken. Fighters Guild. Hajai and hides his eyes. We get I don't trust you enough. Let's fix that. Latest rumors, little advice, little secret. Long blades. Oh, hello. Which ones are new? The broadsword, saber, longsword, and claymore are Western weapons. The katana and daikatana are Akaviri-style blades. Long blades, we've heard that before, but I think all these specifics are new. Broadsword. Long popular in the West, the mass-produced, one-handed, double-edged heavy broadsword commonly used by the legions is descended from the original elaborate decorated Breton broadsword designs. The Nordic broadsword developed independently and is a more plain, practical weapon. All broadswords are commonly used with sword and shield techniques, the Bretons favoring the heavy tower shield, while the legions prefer a smaller, standard-sized shield. Okay, that's fine. I guess a battle axe was probably new, too. The term battle axe includes all very heavy axes used two-handed. Most battle axes are double-bladed, but the Nordic battle axe has a single blade. The great mass and efficiency of the battle axe enables a strong warrior to penetrate heavy armor, but the battle axe is also a powerful shock weapon against massed, lightly armored opponents. Claymore. Highland Bretons were the first to use the very heavy two-handed sword called the claymore, but powerful Redguards were quick to adopt these massive shock weapons to their heroic melee styles. Not suitable for use by close-order troops, the claymore is favored by the solitary hero adventurer, particularly against great beasts and otherworldly creatures. Club. The club is usually a crude, improvised, one-handed blunt weapon common among less technologically sophisticated cultures like the Argonians, but it is also a cheap and effective militia weapon used with a light shield in Cyrodiil and the western provinces. Daikatana. These exotic two-handed, single-edged long blades of Akaviri design are neither common nor popular for military or private use. They are superb examples of weaponcraft, but expensive and subtle in technique. Tranus Sarathrum, Fighters Guild. Hajai hides his eyes. Katana. Elegant and efficient, the Akaviri katana is too expensive and sophisticated a weapon to be popular with the legions or hero adventurers, but well-heeled nobles, collectors, and sword masters prize the blade for its superior balance and effectiveness. Latest rumors, little advice, little secret, long blades, longsword. The longsword is the standard officer's weapon in the legions and a noble's weapon in the West. In Morrowind, glass, ebony, and daedric longswords are precious heirlooms passed down through generations of noble warriors in a great house. Well, let's start with those. Daedric. Daedric weapons are made from raw ebony, which has been refined using the craft and magical substances of the lesser minions of Oblivion. The process is not a pleasant one for the Daedra involved, and the weapons retain echoes of preternaturally prolonged suffering endured during manufacture. Daedric weapons are the most rare and expensive weapons known in Tamriel. Ebony. Ebony weapons are made from a rare form of volcanic glass found almost exclusively in the buried deposits and surface lava flows of Vardenfell's Red Mountain. Ebony refers to the lustrous, black, glassy surface of ebony weapons. Glass. These light and elegant weapons of high elven design feature extravagant use of rare metals and cutting edges made from rare crystalline materials. Duelists and assassins appreciate the delicate balance and sinister sharpness of glass weapons. Mace. The mace is a favored weapon of the Western Knight combined with a standard shield. Dwemer and Daedric maces, superb weapons but expensive and rare, are prized heirlooms of the Dunmer Greathouse nobility. Marksman weapons. Short bows and long bows use arrows, crossbows use bolts. We've seen these before, but the specific ones are new. Crossbow. The Dwemer crossbow is an ingenious device that permits someone with only modest training and skill to fire a missile bolt massive enough to penetrate heavy armor. The Imperial Legion's mass-produced version is somewhat less effective, and most Imperial missile troops and hunters use the more popular short and long bows. We'll hit longbow. A powerful but demanding weapon, the longbow is historically associated with Altmer aristocrats and Bosmer hunters. The less powerful bone mold longbow of Morrowind is traditionally a noble's hunting weapon, but has been adopted for wider use by many Outlander sportsmen and mercenaries. Martial arts. We've seen that. Morrowind lore. The Imperial Legions are the greatest fighting force Tamriel has ever known. In Morrowind they serve as guards, but the garrisons are insurance that the Dunmer will never rise in rebellion against the Empire. My trade. I am a smith. I make, sell, and repair weapons and armor. I can tell you about the basic armor styles and weapon types. I can also tell you how to take care of worn weapons and worn armor and sell you the armor or tools you need. Armor styles. Oh my. The heavy armor styles, called Legion or Knight style in the west and Ebony style in the east, require great strength and endurance. The light armor styles, called Militia in the west and Ashlander in the east, favor speed and agility. The medium armor styles, called Imperial Guard in the west and Great House in the east, are compromises between the heavy and light styles, balancing protection against mobility. A few less common exotic armor types are also found in Morrowind. Exotic armor types. Fur armor is a light armor style popular among Nord barbarians. Droog is a remarkably strong Dunmer medium armor made from Droog hide, but the most famous exotic armor is Dwemer or Dwarvish armor, a highly ornate heavy armor valued as much for its rarity and antique craftsmanship as for its distinctive impact-absorbing qualities in combat. Heavy armor styles. In the west, cheap iron, steel, and silver heavy armor is made in quantity for the legions, and many are trained in its use. In the east, the expense of the superb ebony and Daedric heavy armors limits their use to aristocratic families. Suits of ebony and Daedric armor are passed down from generation to generation, and represent a sizable portion of a great house noble's personal wealth. Iron. For centuries, cheap and serviceable iron and iron-reinforced weapons have been produced in quantity for the legions. These and similarly made iron weapons are in use throughout the Empire. Light armor styles. Both the Western Militia and Eastern Ashlander armor styles depends on light, cheap leather armors. The Eastern reinforced chitin armor, however, is distinctly superior to Western-style leather armors and offers better protection pound for pound and drake for drake than any other armor. The glass light armors of the noble great houses are in the high Altmer style, strikingly light and stylish, and comparable with the ebony and Daedric in protection, but are expensive and in short supply. Chitin. Chitin weapons of native Dunmer manufacture are created from the sturdy but light exoskeletons of local creatures. Layers of chitin are typically laminated using vegetable, shalk, and bug resin glues to form strong but flexible weapons. The serrated edges of the original materials are exploited to create especially wicked daggers and slashing weapons. Dagger. Every culture produces some variant on the short multi-purpose weapon called the dagger. Dagger weapons differ dramatically in quality and effectiveness. They are further differentiated by a wide variety of enchantments commonly placed on these easily concealed weapons. Daedric and glass daggers are shockingly efficient weapons, despite their small size and low mass. And finally, we have medium armor styles. The chain and scale medium armors of the Western Imperial Guard style offer less protection than the heavy iron and steel plate armors of the legions, but with a considerable advantage in mobility. The Dunmer bone mold medium armor is generally lighter and more durable than its Western equivalent. The most prized of medium armors, Orcish, is limited in availability and very expensive, but markedly superior, and is the medium armor of choice for nobles and mercenaries in both the West and East. Novena Ulis. Nordic. These massive steel weapons are forged according to the secret metalcrafts of the Nord smiths and engraved with runes in the manner of the legendary witch warriors of Skyrim. Orc. They call us barbarians because we are brave in war and we laugh at hardship. But we have earned our citizenship by service in the legions, and we are as civilized as any race. We make the finest weapons and armor in the world, and our warriors are the bravest and toughest in Tamriel. Saber. The saber is the weapon of Imperial light cavalry. Since horses cannot adapt to Vardenfell's harsh climate, sabers are uncommon except among Legion veterans. Services. Short blades. The dagger and short sword are Western, we've got that already. Short bow. In the West, the wooden short bow is the standard weapon of legionary missile troops and scouts. In Morrowind, however, wood is in very short supply, and the chitin bow favored by the Ashlanders is laminated bone shell and resin. Silver. High-quality steel is plated or filigreed with silver because of the arcane effects of the precious metal on the flesh of magical and supernatural creatures. Well-heeled aristocrats and bravos also sport such weapons for their distinctive elegance. Solstheim, someone in particular. Spears. We've seen that, but halberd and spear are new. Halberd. The long reach and high efficiency of this two-handed, long-shafted, axe-like weapon makes it well-suited for combat with encumbered, heavily armored opponents. Using this weapon in massed formations requires a high degree of skill and training, and its bulk makes it difficult to use in close quarters, so the weapon is, with significant exceptions, neither common nor popular for use by mercenaries or adventurers. Spear. The spear is a common weapon for light irregular troops and militias, but has been developed as a martial art form by the Bosmer. In Morrowind, the Ashlanders favor a wicked and elegant version of the spear with a spike at the foot of the shaft. Specific place. Staff. The staff is the standard informal weapon of the Traveler, doubling as walking stick and utility tools. Battle mages, spell sword, night blades, and other magical support troops in the legions also train with the staff, among other blunt weapons. Steel. Imperial steel weapons are standard issue for the elite units of the legions. Nobles, merchant traders, and professional mercenaries prefer the higher quality materials and craftsmanship of Imperial steel. Various other weapons of exotic design, in particular the tantos and katanas made in the Akaviri style, are also made of high quality steel. Saran. Tanto. The Tanto is a stylish dagger variant of Akaviri design. For obscure reasons, the Telvanni prefer them to standard daggers as a matrix for their enchantments, and Telvanni mercenaries are often equipped with enchanted Tantos by their mage lord patrons. Throwing Star. The Throwing Star is an exotic weapon associated with the martial arts traditions of Akavir. Unarmored. Monks dedicated to the ascetic philosophies of elsewhere have long cultivated the unarmored martial arts traditions called the Reign of Sand fighting styles. The Mages Guild and other societies have had some success adapting these styles for self-defense training of wizards and other armor-averse vocations. Students of the unarmored styles wear little or no armor and count on evasion and deflection to avoid injury. Wakizashi. Like other exotic blades of Akaviri design, the wakizashi is an elegant and refined single-edged version of the more common double-edged longswords of Western design. Because the weapons themselves are rare, and few smiths know how to make them, they are not common in Morrowind. War axe. A bewildering variety of one-hand axe styles are found in Morrowind. The spiked chitin war axe, favored by Ashlander and Great House Dunmer, is in some ways more like a mace than an axe. The steel war axe is double-bladed, the iron war axe is single-bladed, the glass, ebony, and daedric war axes are single-bladed with balancing spikes. Warhammer. Heavy two-handed hammers were developed in the West to counter the defensive protection of the heavily armored Western Knight. The iron warhammer has a single head with a balancing spike to penetrate plate armor. The steel warhammer, on the other hand, has two heavy heads and is designed to batter or knock down an armored opponent. Weapon types. Oh, shit. Short blades include the dagger, tanto, short sword, and wakizashi. Long blades include the broadsword, saber, longsword, katana, claymore, and daikatana. Blunt weapons include the club, staff, mace, morningstar, and warhammer. Axes include the war axe and battle axe. Spears include spears and halberds. Marksman weapons include short bow, longbow, crossbar, throwing star, and throwing knife is the only new one. Okay, good. Bows shoot arrows, crossbows shoot bolts. Use of each weapon type relies on a different skill. Throwing knife. Small thrown weapons are a Khajiit specialty. Throwing knives are useful in cultures like the Khajiit, whose warrior classes disdain heavy weapons and heavy armors, relying on stealth and maneuver for success in personal and clan combats. Throwing knives are also popular in criminal subcultures. I don't think I got short sword either. Cheap iron and steel short swords are standard issue for Legion troopers. The Imperial short sword is a superior Legion guardsman's weapon. Retired Legion smiths settling in Morrowind have popularized Imperial short swords with the growing Dunmer merchant class and with Hlaalu nobles and their retainers. That one... Okay, those I definitely all had. I just need to make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, no, we're good. Worn armor. As it wears out, armor becomes less effective. Broken armor is completely useless until you repair it, but worn armor stops only a fraction of the damage that newer, well-maintained armor does. Learn the basics of armor repair and go over your armor piece by piece before every big battle, or visit a smith regularly to keep your armor in good shape. Armor repair. Nothing to it, just get yourself an armorer's hammer and start banging away. Anyone can do it. Of course, anyone can do it really badly, too. It does help to have a little skill, but if you got plenty of time and a lot of coin for hammers, you can teach yourself. Actually, unless you're a professional armsman, you should probably pay an armorer to keep your weapons in good repair. Worn weapons. Weapons become less effective with wear. Eventually they break and are useless until you repair them, but a worn weapon does only a fraction of the damage it should do. You'll hack and stab and slash away and suddenly realize you're doing almost nothing to your enemy. So learn the basics of weapon repair and touch up your weapons before every big fight, or pay a smith to keep your weapons in top shape. Weapon repair. Nothing to it. Just get yourself an armorer's hammer and start banging away. Of course, you don't literally use the hammer on a blade's edge unless you're a barbarian. The armorer's hammer is just a package deal, a complete portable kit for maintaining your armor and weapons in the field. And my advice is to pay a smith to do your repairs unless you have a decent skill as an armorer. That turned into a big one. But we can sell him the bone mold shield, the imperial chain coif, and oh... He doesn't seem to mind the skooma or moon sugar, although he won't buy it. That's interesting. Alright, good. So we'll sell that off. We'll pop upstairs just to see if there's anything useful. That goes out to Saran. The closet has nothing. And over here, there is a light armor skill book called Ice and Chitin, which we can go ahead and read and take off of our book list. Let me do that right quick. Oops. All right. Ice and Chitin by Pletius Spatic. The tale dates to the year 855 of the Second Era, after General Talos had taken the name Tiber Septim and begun his conquest of Tamriel. One of his commanding officers, Beatia of Iliolos, had been surprised in an ambush while returning from a meeting with the Emperor. She and her personal guard of 5 soldiers barely escaped and were separated from their army. They fled across the desolate, sleet-painted, rocky cliffs by foot. The attack had been so sudden they had not even the time to don armor or get to their horses. If we can get to the Gorvai Ridge, hollered Lieutenant Ascutus, gesturing toward a peak off in the mist, his voice barely discernible over the wind, we can meet the legion you've stationed in Pornak. Beatia looked across the craggy landscape, through the wind-swept, hoary trees, and shook her head. Not that way. We'll be struck down before we make it halfway to the mountain. You can see their horses' breath through the trees. She directed her guard toward a ruined old keep on the frozen isthmus of Nerone, across the bay from Gorvai Ridge. Jutting out on a promontory of rock, it was like many other abandoned castles in northern Skyrim, remnants of Riemann Cyrodiil's protective shield against the continent of Akavir. As they reached their destination and made a fire, they could hear the army of the war chiefs of Danstrar behind them, making camp on the land southwest, blocking the only escape but the sea. The soldiers assessed the stock of the keep, while Beatia looked out to the fog-veiled water through the casements of the ruin. She threw a stone, watching it skip across the ice, trailing puffs of mist, before it disappeared with a splash into a crack in the surface. No food or weaponry to be found, Commander, Lieutenant Ascutus reported. There's a pile of armor in storage, but it's definitely taken on the elements over the years. I don't know if it's salvageable at all. We won't last long here, Beatia replied. The Nords know that we'll be vulnerable when night falls, and this old rock won't hold them off. If there's anything in the keep we can use, find it. We have to make it across the ice floe to the ridge. After a few minutes of searching and matching pieces, the guards presented 2 very grimy, scuffed and cracked suits of chitin armor. Even the least proud of the adventurers and pirates who had looted the castle over the years had thought the shells of chitin beneath their notice. The soldiers did not dare to clean them. The dust looked to be the only adhesive holding them together. "They won't offer us much protection, just slow us down," grimaced Ascutus, "if we run across the ice as soon as it gets dark. Anyone who can plan and execute an ambush like the war chiefs of Danstrar will be expecting that. We need to move quickly, now, before they're any closer." Beatia drew a map of the bay in the dust, and then a semicircular path across the water, an arc stretching from the castle to the Gorvai Ridge. "The men should go the long way across the bay, like so. The ice is thick there a ways from the shoreline, and there are a lot of rocks for cover. You're not staying behind to hold the castle." "Of course not." Beatia shook her head and drew a straight line from the castle to the closest shore across the bay. "I'll take one of the chitin suits and try to cross the water here. If you don't see or hear me when you've made it to land, don't wait, just get to Pornac." Lieutenant Ascutus tried to dissuade his commander, but he knew that she would never order one of her men to perform the suicidal act of diversion, that all would die before they reached Gorvai Ridge if the warlord's army was not distracted. He could find only one way to honor his duty to protect his commanding officer. It was not easy convincing Commander Beatia that he should accompany her, but at last she relented. The sun hung low but still cast a diffused glow, illuminating the snow with a ghostly light, when the 5 men and 1 woman slipped through the boulders beneath the castle to the water's frozen edge. Beatia and Ascutus moved carefully and precisely, painfully aware of each dull crunch of chitin against stone. At their commander's signal, the 4 unarmored men dashed towards the north across the ice. When her men had reached the first fragment of cover, a spiral of stone jutting a few yards from the base of the promontory, Beatia turned to listen for the sound of the army above. Nothing but silence. They were still unseen. Ascutus nodded, his eyes through the helm showing no fear. The commander and her lieutenant stepped onto the ice and began to run. When Beatia had surveyed the bay from the castle ramparts, the crossing closest to shore had seemed like a vast, featureless plain of white. Now that she was down on the ice, it was even more flat and stark. The sheet of mist rose only up their ankles, but it billowed up at their approach, like the hand of nature itself was pointing out their presence to their enemies. They were utterly exposed. It came almost as a relief when Beatia heard one of the war chief's scouts whistle a signal to his masters. They didn't have to turn around to see if the army was coming. The sound of galloping hoofs and the crash of trees giving way was very clear over the whistling wind. Beatia wished she could risk a glance to the north to see if her men were hidden from view, but she didn't dare. She could hear Ascutus running to her right, keeping pace, breathing hard. He was used to wearing heavier armor, but the chitin joints were so brittle and tight from years of disuse, it was all he could do to bend them. The rocky shore to the ridge still looked an eternity away when Beatia felt and heard the first volley of arrows. Most struck the ice at their feet with sharp cracking sounds, but a few nearly found home, ricocheting off their backs. She silently offered a prayer of thanks to whatever anonymous shellsmith, now long dead, had crafted the armor. They continued to run, as the first rain of arrows was quickly followed by a second and a third. "Thanks, Stendar," Ascutus gasped. "If there was only leather in the keep, we'd be pierced through and through. Now if only it weren't so rigid." Beatia felt her own armor joints begin to set, her knees and hips finding more and more resistance with every step. There could be no denying it. They were drawing closer toward the shore, but they were running much more slowly. She heard the first dreadful galloping crunch of the army charging across the floe toward them. The riders were cautious on the slippery ice, not driving their horses at full speed, but Beatia knew that they would be upon the 2 of them soon. The old chitin armor could withstand the bite of a few arrows, but not a lance driven with the force of a galloping horse. The only great unknown was time. The thunder of beating hooves was deafening behind them when Ascutus and Beatia reached the edge of the shore. The giant jagged stones that strung around the beach blockaded the approach. Beneath their feet the ice sighed and cracked. They could not stand still, run forward, nor run back. Straining against the tired metal in the armor joints, they took 2 bounds forward and flew at the boulders. The first landing on the ice sounded an explosive crack. When they rose for the final jump, it was on a wave of water so cold it felt like fire through the thin armor. Ascutus's right hand found purchase in a deep fissure. Beatia gripped with both hands, but her boulder was slick with frost. Faces pressed to the stone, they could not turn to face the army behind them. But they heard the ice splintering and the soldiers cry out in terror for just an instant. Then there was no sound but the whining of the wind and the purring lap of the water. A moment later there were footsteps on the cliff above. The 4 guardsmen had crossed the bay. There were 2 to pull Beatia up from the face of the boulder, and another 2 for Ascutus. They strained and swore at the weight, but finally they had their commander and her lieutenant safely on the edge of Gorvai Ridge. By Mara, that's heavy for light armor. Yes, smiled Beatia wearily, looking back over the empty, broken ice floe, the cracks radiating from the parallel paths she and Ascutus had run. But sometimes that's good. All right. So now I am going to run back to Pelagiad again. I know this is probably seeming super repetitive, and I'm sorry about that. We'll need to drop off moon sugar and skooma. He won't buy the pipe, but we can sell him. Oh, he won't buy ice and chitin. Okay then. Did I pick up anything else that was just for sale? Yes. The orcish left pauldron, which is too good for the likes of him. We'll sell it to, what's his name in Pelagiad? Anyway, we got our goal. Heading back to Pelagiad. Let's do that right now. It's a pretty quick and easy trip, as you know. Looks like we are going to get to deal with a rat, though. That's fun. And I'm going to pop Restore Fatigue on the way. Come on now. We're good, right? Yeah, this is where we want to be. What am I doing? I want that Quama Cuddle. I'm getting silly. Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on this, honestly. Alright, dispose of him. Let's get our butts back there. That's Arvel Plantations. We'll go here instead. This way. Getting a little bit turned around, but not too bad. There's Dren Plantation, ever closer. Oh, we're almost there. Excitement abounds. Alright, now once we're here, we're just going to do a little offloading right quick. And we will, as usual, start off at Junalai's house. So let's head inside. We're going to put our Dark Brotherhood pauldron down. We're going to find our chitin throwing stars. Oh, those are Firebite stars. There they are. Add those to the stack. That's for sale. Skooma and moon sugar go in their various stacks. Masters and apprentices armorers hammers can still go down here. I like repair prongs myself. They work just fine. Alright, so let's see about potions. We've got bloat, which we save right over here. Got netch leather, same thing. Now, I got one Quamacuddle, which calls for a luminous Rusula. Let's do salt rice. So that way we can do cork bulb root for restore health. We can do wickweed for restore health. And we can do small eggs for restore fatigue. And crab meat for restore fatigue. And then we can do Quamacuddle and Rusula for 1 water breathing. Rusula will ditch, the salt rice will keep. Restore health stacks nicely. Gets me back to 10, which is what I wanted. I've got 8 restore fatigues now. I suppose I'll just grab 2 more. Perfect. I will drop off the books we need to hold on to, which would be Sun's Dusk and the Buying Game. Ice and chitin we can sell. Let's repair all our gear right quick. Let me fix this so it stays nice and together. Let's go visit Mebestian. See what he's willing to buy. We'll go to Ulernil and sell off our Orcish pauldron first.
I'm listening.
Yes, excellent. Now we'll go visit Mebestian. We'll sell him ice and chitin and maybe the good skooma pipe, if he'll take it. He won't. It's alright though. And now we're ready to grind skills again. So what I'm going to do off camera is probably 3 more levels worth of medium armor. So when we come back, it'll be at 45. Acrobatics will be at 100. And then I'll briefly switch off of strength and use, we'll do medium armor and something else. But anyway, I'll walk you through it when I get back. But the bottom line is when we come back, medium armor will be at 45, so endurance will be at 100. So we're going to gain a total of 3 levels off screen, maybe more if I'm able to grind it out. I'll walk you through whatever I end up doing. In the meantime, this has been Let's Play Morrowind. When we're done grinding, we'll head back to Saran and keep exploring. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider clicking an ad, liking, sharing, or subscribing, any or all of which really help me out. Regardless, please know that I really appreciate the time you spend watching, and hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.